Of all the people in a room, the most powerful person is usually the silent one. Some people, why don't they explain themselves? Why don't they react emotionally to things? But also, how do they command such great respect without any effort? The Stoics understood a secret that the modern world has forgotten. That is, silence is not weakness. Silence is self-control. In the next few minutes, you will learn how the Stoics used silence and detachment to become emotionally untouchable by anyone's attacks. Listen carefully. This is not ordinary motivation. This is mental training. 1. Silence, not emptiness, but strength. Many people confuse silence with fear, defeat, or a lack of answers. But for Stoics, silence is not an empty space. Silence is a manifestation of strength. When a person speaks, they project their power outward. When you insult back after being insulted, when you struggle to explain yourself after being criticized, you are giving your energy away to others. The Stoics understood this early on. Speech is often a storm that disrupts inner peace. But silence is the shield that protects that peace. 2. Why is over-talking untrustworthy? Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, has a famous saying, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as much as we speak." This saying seems simple, but it carries a grave warning. Words are expensive. Once you speak them, you cannot take them back. The Stoics disliked excessive speech, because the more you speak, the wider your margin for error becomes. The more you speak, the more you hand over your identity to the judgment of others. Words are emotional contracts. When you promise something or give an opinion, you are unknowingly tying yourself to that thing. But the silent man is free. No one can hold evidence against him. 3. Marcus Aurelius and restraint. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, while holding the world in his hands, practiced silence more than anyone. In his meditations, we find a crucial question. Whenever he thought to say or do anything, he would ask himself, "Is this necessary?" Most of our speech is unnecessary. Most of our arguments are futile races for self-justification. As Marcus Aurelius tells us, reducing unnecessary speech gives us not just time, but peace of mind. Not saying what is unnecessary is a great power. 4. Reacting versus surrendering power. Do you know what happens when you react immediately to an insult? That person has won. It means you have given them the authority to control your emotions. They said get angry, and you got angry. They touched you, and you were moved. You have become a puppet dancing to their remote control. But Stoics believe that not reacting is the ultimate form of revenge. Your silence tells your enemy one message: you have no power over me. Your words have no capacity to disturb me. Silence is the confirmation that your internal control remains in your hands alone. 5. The difference between silence and suppression. We must correct a major mistake here. Being stoic does not mean bottling up emotions. There is a vast difference between silence and suppression. Suppressing emotions means smiling falsely while burning inside. This hurts. This is weakness. Stoic silence, however, comes from understanding. You feel the emotion, the anger comes, but you decide not to be a slave to that feeling. You observe the emotion, but you do not amplify it with words. Your silence is not a hiding place, but a moment of focus where you filter your emotions and make a decision. 6. Most conflict begins with explanation. A trap many of us fall into is explaining. When people think badly of us or twist things against us, we rush to explain the reality. But remember, your enemies will not believe your explanation. and your friends do not need your explanation. Most conflict begins by trying to explain, "Do you know why I said that?" Stoics do not explain themselves. They allow their actions to speak. They do not persuade with words. Silence is the confidence that says, "I know who I am. I don't need your validation." Therefore, from this hour on, stop counting silence as emptiness. Silence is your weapon. Silence is the guardian of your inner peace. In the next section, we will see in detail how to use this power of silence to become untouchable against insults and criticism. The psychology of silence. 1. The expectation of reaction. Do you know why people shoot at you? The answer is simple. They want to see you fall, scream, or get upset. Human beings are naturally reaction seekers. When someone throws a stone into water, they don't want the stone, they want the ripple and the disturbance of the water. You are that water. When they insult or criticize you, they wait to see your disturbance. This is satisfaction for them. But what if the stone is thrown and the water doesn't move? What if the stone is swallowed up and the water remains still? The thrower becomes shocked. They become disturbed because it didn't go as planned. 2. Breaking manipulation cycles. In the world of psychology, there are people called emotional vampires. These people live on and feed off your energy. When you get angry, they are satisfied. When you argue, they gain power. Giving your anger to these people is like feeding them. But silence is starvation for them. When you are silent, you are ruining their game. You deprive them of anything to hold on to. Silence is the only blade that cuts the chain of manipulation. 3. Uncertainty causes discomfort. Modern neuroscience studies show that the human brain hates nothing more than uncertainty. When you speak, argue, or get angry, what you are thinking becomes clear to people. Your identity is read. People can predict your next move. But when you are silent, a massive gap is created in their minds. They start to doubt. What is he thinking? Why isn't he angry? Does he have another plan? This doubt scares people. Your silence creates discomfort in people's minds. Unknowingly, you create pressure on their psyche. Your silence becomes a deafening shout to them. 4. Silence as a mirror. Silence is a very cruel mirror. Let me tell you how. When someone yells at you and you remain silent, whose voice is heard in the room? Only theirs. That person begins to hear their own shouting, their own insults, and their own emotional instability alone. By not reacting, you throw the ball back to them. Then, they begin to project their hate and internal problems onto you. Unknowingly, you make them expose themselves. Your silence becomes a mirror reflecting their ugly behavior back at them. 5. Why silence wins over logic. In an argument, it is difficult to defeat a person with logic or reason, because the person arguing with you is in the world of emotion, and a person in emotion does not hear logic. Argument is like a fire. Fire needs oxygen to continue. Your reaction and speech are oxygen for that fire. But when you are silent, you deny it oxygen. The fire dies out on its own. Many people take hours to end a conflict. Stoics finish it in minutes. How? Simply by stopping participation. When your opponent talks alone, they look foolish. But you, through your silence, hold the superiority. Silence does not mean allowing the other person to win. Silence means changing the rules of the game. When they try to engage you on the field of shouting, you change it to psychological warfare. Now you understand the psychology of silence. Next, we will see how to use this practically, especially when people intentionally try to anger us. Stoic detachment. 1. Detachment versus coldness. We must clear up a major misconception here. Detachment does not mean hardening the heart, not caring about people, or being cold. Being a Stoic does not mean being a robot. True Stoic detachment means accepting things as they are, not expecting them to be as we want them to be. You can love, you can help, you can feel sorrow, but you do not drown in those emotions. Be like a swimmer. You swim in the water, but you do not allow the water to swallow you. This is detachment. 2. The dichotomy of control. Epictetus, the great teacher of Stoicism, gave us a golden rule. If you understand this rule, your life will change forever. It says, there are two types of things in the world, things under our control and things not under our control. What people think of you, the weather, the economy, or other people's behavior, these are not under your control. Getting upset over these things is like fighting a wall. What is under your control? Only your thoughts, your decisions, and your reactions. Detachment means investing your energy only in what you control and saying okay to what you do not control. 3. Emotional ownership versus emotional slavery. Many people are slaves to their emotions. When anger comes, they get angry. When fear comes, they flee. A Stoic is the owner of their emotions. What is the difference between emotional ownership and slavery? The difference is the pause. When you feel an emotion, do not act on it immediately. Welcome the emotion like a guest. Think, I am feeling anger right now. Observe it, but don't obey it. Remember, emotion is the weather. You are the sky. The clouds come, go, darken, and rain. But the sky is always there. Your emotion does not represent you. Emotion is just a passing event. 4. Suffering in imagination versus reality. The Roman philosopher Seneca stated an amazing truth. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. How many of us have lost sleep worrying about the future? What if this happens? What if they say that? We suffer by creating misery in our imagination that hasn't even arrived. Stoic detachment frees you from this mental prison. A Stoic does not worry about the future. He prepares for it. Worry changes nothing. Preparation changes things. When your mind creates fear, free yourself by saying, this is not truth, this is imagination. 5. Loving without attachment. This is hard for many to understand. What does loving people without attachment mean? It means you love someone, you respect them, but you accept that one day that person may leave, change, or separate from you. When you think of people or things as your property, you break when you lose them. As Epictetus says, when you kiss your child or your wife, remember that you are kissing a mortal. Then, you will not be disturbed when they leave you. Does this seem cruel? No. This is reality. In fact, knowing that our loved ones are mortal makes us love and cherish the time we have with them even more. 6. Detachment as emotional maturity. Finally, detachment is a sign of maturity. A child cries when denied what they want. A grown adult understands that things cannot always be as they wish, accepts it, and moves on. You are above circumstances. No one can come and touch your buttons or disrupt you. Stoic detachment means the art of maintaining one's own peace amidst the noise of the world. Now you understand the Stoic mindset. But knowledge alone is worthless. Next, I will show you 4 practical Stoic exercises to turn this knowledge into action in your daily life. Get ready. Times Stoics choose silence. 1. Strategic silence. Silence is not something done randomly. Stoics use silence as a weapon. They know when to speak, but more than that, they know exactly when to be silent. Many of us fail because we speak where we shouldn't. Let's look at 4 crucial times Stoics choose silence. 2. When insulted. When someone tries to hurt you with words, insult you, or belittle you, What is your first instinct? To counterattack. But Stoics use a trick here. Cato, the great Stoic, was once spat upon in the face. Cato did not get angry. He did not insult back. He simply wiped his face and said, "Is that it? People didn't even know you had a mouth." What action did he take here? Devaluing the insult. An insult is like a gift. If someone tries to give you a gift and you refuse to accept it, who does the gift remain with? With the giver. When you are silent, you send the insult back to its owner. Your silence conveys a powerful message. Your opinion is worthless to me. 3. The trap of explaining. This is a very crucial point. Explaining lowers status. A king or leader does not explain every detail to his followers about why he made a decision. A confident person allows their actions to speak for themselves. They do not beg to persuade with words. When people misunderstand you, do not try to cleanse yourself, swear, or pledge. This is weakness. This is the pleading voice of "Please believe me." Stoics speak the truth once. Then they leave it. Truth needs no explanation. Time has its own power of clarification. When you just move on, people respect you more seeing your confidence. 4. When disrespected or ignored. What do you do when people intentionally ignore you or show disrespect? Most people shout to get attention or argue asking, "Why are you doing this?" This is a huge mistake. Respect is not found in begging. The weapon Stoics use at this time is total withdrawal. If people do not respect your presence, your absence will teach them. Do not argue. Do not get angry. Simply remove yourself from that situation. Look them in the eyes, smile slightly, and walk away silently. This kind of silence shocks people. It makes them worry. What does he know? What is he relying on? Silence is the shield with which you maintain your dignity. 5. Winning versus wisdom. Often in arguments, we want to win. We want to have the last word. But Stoics ask one question: what is the point of winning the argument if you lose your peace? You cannot defeat a fool with logic. Arguing with him is like wrestling in the mud. You get dirty too. Silence at this time is not defeat, but refusing to recognize things beneath your level. Your silence is a decision that says this is not worth my time and energy. Do not lose your long-term dignity for a short-term verbal victory. Silence is a long-term investment. 6. Long-term impact. If you have noticed, the people you respect most in your life are not the ones who chatter the most, but those who save their words. Silent people are mysterious, and mysterious people are respected. Do not let people know you easily. Do not be predictable. Don't say everything. Let your silence be your dignity. Choosing silence during arguments, insults, or disrespect can be difficult in the moment. Your emotions push you to explode. But when you pass that emotion and remain silent, the feeling of victory you have when you return home is special. You know you controlled yourself, and that is true power. So, the next time someone tries to test you, do not gather words. Prepare your silence. Silence is an answer. Now, before we close the video, I will give you 3 crucial homework assignments, actionable steps, to turn all this into daily practice. Silence and ego. 1. The real enemy is ego. So far we talked about external enemies, about people who insult and despise you. But now, let's talk about the real enemy. It is not outside. It is right here inside, in your mind. Its name is ego. Why do we fail to be silent? Why do we crave giving a response? Because our ego wants to be seen. Our ego wants to be heard. When someone criticizes you, your ego screams like a child. What? How can he say that to me? I must show him who I am. Silence is poison to the ego. That is why silence is hard. When you are silent, you are killing that false identity, ego. 2. The lost word syndrome. If you notice, during arguments, people race to have the last word. The point is lost. The truth is lost. The main thing becomes who won. Ego always wants the last word. It wants the confirmation, I am the one who won. But Stoics see this as weakness. Argument is like a tug-of-war. Your ego forces you to pull the rope. But being Stoic means dropping the rope. When you drop the rope, your opponent falls by their own force. But your hands are free. Leave the last word to them. It is not a prize. It is food for the ego. 3. Social media. The anti-Stoic training. The world we live in today, especially social media, is designed to prevent us from being Stoic. Facebook, TikTok, X, Twitter, all are built for one thing, your reaction. People fight in comments. They destroy their nerves over strangers, over unchangeable truths. Why? Because correcting someone creates a false satisfaction, dopamine, for the brain. Saying, see, I know, you don't is the ego's greatest joy. A Stoic does not argue on social media. He puts down the phone and returns to his life. He knows that internet arguments are fool's race when no one wins. 4. The urge to prove and justify. When someone speaks lies about you, you immediately rise to prove the truth. Why? Because you want to protect the image people have of you. But remember, as long as you know your truth, why do you need others' validation? Does the sun have to prove I am light? It does not need to. It knows it is, and it shines. Be like that. If you are right, you don't need to prove it. If you are wrong, proving it won't help you. Silence is the ultimate level of self-confidence, self-validation. 5. Choosing peace over validation. You have a big choice in life. Do you want to be right, or do you want peace? Often you cannot have both together. You might argue with a fool and win, being right, but you lose your peace, burn your time, and deplete your energy. Stoics choose peace. Even if people say he lost, or he had no answer, you have maintained your inner peace. External validation is cheap. Inner peace is expensive. Do not sell your expensive possession for a cheap feeling. 6. The power line. Lower your voice with deep emotion. Let me tell you a crucial rule. Write this in your heart. You don't need to attend every argument you're invited to. People may invite you to war. They may call you, insult you, shoot at you. But that doesn't mean you must participate. Declining the invitation is your right. Just watching, smiling, and continuing your way, this is the death of the ego. This is the Stoic resurrection. If you can conquer your ego, you conquer the world. We have finished the philosophy of silence. In the final part, we will look at the practical exercises, conclusion and action plan to turn this all into action, starting when you wake up tomorrow morning. Practicing silence and detachment. 1. Theory alone is worthless. We have talked a lot about the philosophy of silence, but I want to tell you one truth. Philosophy without action is just a word game. Stoicism is not a theory. Stoicism is mental muscle building. Just as you lift weights daily to build muscle, you must practice silence and detachment daily. How? Follow these 5 Stoic exercises. 2. The pause rule. The first rule we learn is simple but crucial. The pause rule. Create a gap between when an event happens and when you react. When someone insults you, do not answer immediately. Count in your heart. Count from 1 to 10, or recite the alphabet internally as needed. This may seem foolish, but this short time helps you shift from your emotional brain to your rational brain. If you control that 1 second, you control the whole day. Before you answer, take a breath. That breath is your freedom. 3. Voluntary silence practice. The second exercise is practicing silence without being forced. I am not saying be silent all day, but where your speech is not necessary, Intentionally choose silence. For example, when friends gossip about someone, withhold your opinion. In a meeting, when everyone is chattering, be a listener. Do not rush to say everything you know. The message this exercise gives to your mind is, I can control my mouth. If you practice silence in easy times, being silent in hard times, during anger, will be easy for you. 4. The art of emotional labeling. The third exercise is viewing yourself as an observer. When you feel an emotion, do not merge with the emotion. Instead, give it a name. Don't say I am angry. This makes the emotion your identity. Instead, say I am feeling a sensation of anger right now. Do you see the difference? The first represents you. The second represents a guest passing through you. Do not judge the emotion. Do not hate it. Just know it. Aha! Now I am feeling jealousy. Now fear has come. The thing you have named loses its power over you. 5. Negative visualization. Premeditatio malorum. This is the Stoic's secret weapon. Before you leave your house in the morning, prepare for the difficult people you might encounter. When Marcus Aurelius woke up in the morning, he would say to himself, the people I meet today will be ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, and envious. Why does he say this? To disobey? No, to prepare. What happens when you can do all this? 1. A new identity born of silence. You have learned the techniques. You know the exercises. Now the question is, what happens when you apply this in your life? The answer is simple. You will be reborn. The you that was known before will disappear. The identity that panicked at everything, got offended by small criticisms, and was tossed about by waves of emotion will die. In its place, a new, calm, and invincible identity will be born. 2. Quiet authority. The first change you will see is people's attitude toward you. People do not listen to someone who chatters too much. Rather, they despise them. But they fear and respect the silent man. When you are silent, your words carry weight. When you speak occasionally, people stop their talk and listen to you. Why? Because they know what you say is valuable. Your silence creates quiet confidence. You stop striving to explain yourself, and then people strive to understand you. 3. A life without conflict. Your life will become peaceful. The petty conflicts that used to eat up your time will disappear. When people come to fight you, but you refuse to play the game, they cannot create a fight. One hand cannot clap alone. Your energy is saved. You will use that energy for your growth, your work, and your family. You stop being driven by emotion. You become the driver of your own life. 4. Mental clarity. Above all, your mind clears up. A mind filled with emotional foam cannot make correct decisions. But when you are stoic, the foam disappears. You see things as they really are. When people are swallowed by emotion and worry, you become the person of solutions. Because you are above the problem. Your silence gives your mind mental space. 5. Comparison. Reactive versus stoic life. Let's compare the two lives. First, the reactive life. This person is like a ping pong ball. When people hit him, he goes there. When they hit back, he comes here. He has no direction of his own. News he saw on Facebook in the morning ruins his day. A comment from a coworker costs him his sleep. He is a dry leaf in the storm of life. Second, the stoic life. This person is like a great mountain. The wind blows, the rain falls, the sun rises, but the mountain remains in its place. It is not disturbed, it does not shake. He is not a victim of circumstances, but the master of circumstances. Calmness is a superpower. 6. Calm is authority. Remember, the leaders who brought great change in human history were not the loud ones, but the calmest ones. Calmness is a sign of authority. A person who watches silently amidst chaos is more powerful than all those shouting. Now the choice is yours. Do you want to be a leaf or a mountain? Reaching this level of life is a journey, but the journey begins now. In the final minutes of the video, I will show you how to start this journey today. Listen to my final message. The final Stoic message. We end our journey here, but this is not an end. It is your new beginning. Note one thing. The world considers noise as power, but it is mistaken. The waves roar, but the deep ocean is silent. The wind howls, but the mountain stands silent. True strength has no voice. You don't need to shout to be strong. Turning off your voice means turning on your power. I want to leave you with a truth that Marcus Aurelius, the ruler of the world, understood in his final days. He says, "Nowhere can man find a quieter and more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Do not seek your peace outside. Your peace is inside your silence. Your shelter is inside your detachment. From today on, practice silence. From today on, make detachment your wealth. Allow people to expose their character through noise. But you, be the observer. If this lesson gave you inner strength, if this wisdom lit your path, stay with us. The journey continues. More Stoic wisdom is coming soon. Be strong. Be silent.